Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate returning back. If it's been a long time, thank you for coming back. If you watch me every day, appreciate you nonetheless. You're fantastic, one of my diehards. But regardless, we're going to take a look here today at Dent Wireless. Now, I've covered this a few times in the past. I have a really big community based on that, so that's the main reason I'm covering it, because I get requests for me to analyze specific coins, and with the recent increase in price, Dent was one of the few that had a pretty significant increase. Right now, of course, a lot of coins are doing well right now, minus the retracement from the news from Amazon. But generally speaking, today was a pretty good day for Dent. So we're going to take a look at that here. And just know this is a technical analysis only. There's no fundamentals. Do your own research on the fundamentals for Dent Wireless. It's actually very good stuff. Definitely reference that in your own time. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should do your own research and just know I have years of trading experience. My goal is to help trade you not trade you, sorry, help you trade for a lifetime. I wouldn't trade you for the world. Okay. Now I have a signal group in case you are interested, link in the description below. First of the month is the best time to reference that, where I send out signals. We're currently trending around 70-80% success rate. So things are still in the up and up, even though we got kind of hammered in this last week. Moving forward too, if you're not part of my Telegram community, feel free to reference that. Also, really good group of folks. You can learn a lot. Link in the description below. So let's go ahead and get to it. Without further ado, let's check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Dent Wireless. And just before we do, we always look at Bitcoin, Ethereum first to get a quick baseline of the market so we know exactly what's going on. All right. A good trader will always understand all their angles, and it is important to look at these other coins first. So we're going to look at Bitcoin first on the 4-hour chart. This is TradingView desktop application, and I utilize a lot of indicators, more so only 2 or 3 per time frame, but still go through a lot. So I do recommend the paid version of TradingView. I have a link in the description below for a discount if you'd like a free month for that. This is the 4-hour chart, and what we're going to do, we're going to look at the simple moving averages. Always utilize that because the industry leaders are the ones, using these same indicators, right? So if we use that, we know what's going on. I just want to quickly show you here, we have the 200-day simple moving average, the purple line, and the 50, which is the orange line. Price is obviously above both. It will be for some time, unless the price retraces down below the support level of 37,000, and we should see the price probably stay there for some time. If it does break below 36,500 is the next major support level, because that was the previous resistance. So it might just be in the 36,500, 37,000 channel range. Should go sideways for a little while. I'm expecting that too, because Amazon, the news that they'd be accepting Bitcoin was denied. That rumor was denied, which is why we saw this large red candle right here approximately 4 hours ago. So just keep that in mind. That's the reason for that. But we should see some sideways action between 35 and 37, or possibly 37 and 40,500. Major resistance 40,500. Major support still, in my opinion, is still 30,000. Even though it was below, it broke above after just one day. All right. So that's kind of where we're at there. Just one last thing, I don't usually do this, but I want you to note that on the 1-day chart, the price action broke really hard through the 50-day moving average. I just like to note that. All right, moving on to Ethereum. Same thing, essentially, right? It's like a mirror image of Bitcoin. Only difference is that Ethereum is struggling and not doing quite as well, because Bitcoin, broke through 36,500. That's what this should have been right here, and then tested upwards of 40,500, which is 2,900 for Ethereum. I'm saying this because the fact that Ethereum should have literally broken this point here, but it didn't, because of the simple fact that it's undervalued. Honestly, basically just means that it's affordable and at a better price than it should be. But that's the bottom line there, is that Ethereum is not doing as well as it should, and it's been like that for the last 2 months, ever since it reached this channel between 1725 and 2900. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Also bear in mind this note right here, 2400, is a major resistance. It was tested multiple times here on the 7th and the 4th, as well as the fact that today and rejected. Okay. So something to note, that will be the next major resistance for Ethereum. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Dent Wireless, and we're going to look at the 1-day chart first to get perspective on what's going on. And it's not pretty. Unfortunately, the last 2 months have been terrible for Dent, but what's crazy and cool is the last couple of days has given us about 75%, even though it did retrace, roughly 75%, increase in the past 4 or 5 trading days. So Dent's kind of back on track, not by any means the way it was prior, but I want to just show something to you here so we know exactly what's going on. In other words, I like to look at the April 17th date, which is this major red candle here. That was the first major Bitcoin sell-off. where Bitcoin dropped about 15% in one day. Furthermore, April 22nd, another red day, and then it ramped back up. This is pretty consistent with a lot of decent coins that have good fundamentals. It'll increase right there from the 23rd, typically the 25th, but from the 23rd upwards of the 1st of May. There's a good action here where the price went sideways for Bitcoin, but everything else jumped up. We totally thought alt season was in full play right then. Yep, and then of course we got the first Elon candle here. That was this guy here, and then biggest one is May 18th, May 19th, 18th, right here, this big red candle here. That was essentially the China candle that set everything pretty much south. And ever since then, it's pretty much just been a slow downward spiral. Now, obviously, we see where the price action hit its lowest point, 0.0016. That's basically its support level. So why don't we just go ahead and mark that. So that's about, it should be as low as it goes for Dent. Actually, I'm kind of curious, how far does it actually, yeah, that was a potential resistance and support level from before. Okay, so we shouldn't see the price go any lower than that, which is good news, but bear in mind, price is still stuck under the 50-day moving average on the one-day chart, and with the 200 further away. RSI is right around fair to midland, so that's pretty standard for coins right now. Based on the last 5 days of price action, and we've got a convergence that occurred on the 21st. No surprise there. That's essentially when Bitcoin broke free of 29,000, or sub 30,000. All right, so that's Dent Wireless right now on the one-day chart. Take a look at the 4-hour. Similar scenario here. Only difference is, to Bitcoin is that the 200-day simple moving average was working as a resistance, and do you see how it broke through here, strong and fast? That was basically likely a short squeeze right there that broke through. Which makes sense because yesterday just price popped off crazy for Bitcoin, and anyone that was in a short squeeze here as well for Dent, they got squeezed out and price ramped up to a max of about 0.0028. So let's see if that is actually, yeah, it looks like there is a resistance there. So right around technically 0.00278, but we'll just go ahead and mark that there. That was a previous resistance. So we should expect to see the price bounce between the 200-day simple moving average and that price right there, 0.0027, 0.0028, right in that range. Okay, so that's the 4-hour chart. Let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. And what we always do is disable the simple moving averages. They don't make a lot of sense on shorter time frames, but the cloud definitely does. So if you're new to the channel, I like to use the Ishimoku cloud, and I like to mark where it peaks above. In other words, anytime the price is above the cloud, it's considered a buy signal. As you can see here, nice buy signal there, and it's considered a short signal when it breaks below. All right, so this is one of the major things I look for. I look for MACD convergences on the 4-hour chart, which we kind of glossed over because it was pretty obvious that we had a convergence on the 21st. And then furthermore, we have the Ichimoku cloud. So it's considered a short signal, price going down, buy signal, price going up. So that's essentially what we're looking for there. So good news is the price is above the cloud. It could come down to test and bounce off of the cloud. That could possibly happen. It could go sideways, then continue upwards. That's a likelihood. Does it always happen that way? No, but it is, the great thing about the cloud is it does work as a continuous support and resistance. So you see this here too. It went into the cloud, yes, but it stayed above and held above. Therefore, we're in good shape. All right, that's kind of the 1-hour chart. I wanted to also double check the TD sequential so we can kind of see where we're at here. And in other words, are we at a state of exhaustion yet? According to TD sequential, we are not. We got reset at a 6 and then retraced back down, and we're down to a 5 now. So hypothetically, we have 4 more hours worth of retracement before the price action returns back upwards. Just keep in mind, Bitcoin is testing the support level of 37,000 right now, and until it breaks above or stays above or breaks below, it stays below, it's going to kind of be in the state of indecision, and coins like this are caught in the crossfire until Bitcoin makes up its mind. Right, so nothing really much to note there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 15-minute chart. Maybe identify a good entry point for us. And I'd always use the VWAP and EMA lines. VWAP is the blue line here. Volume weighted average price tells us the volume of the last 24 hours and expresses it as a price. So right now, of course, it did reset every 24 hours. It has to reset the standard deviation lines. But right at this point, the price is pretty much moving right along with it. So it's neither a support or resistance level, but previously it was working as a support and just broke as a resistance. Furthermore, we also have the EMA lines. That's working as a bearish momentum, and it worked pretty good here. You can see where the price bounced off EMA and VWAP here. VWAP VWAP, EMA. So those are all things you want to look for when you're in a bull run, right? Once it breaks below and stays below both EMA and VWAP line, that's an indication of a bearish trend in which we are in right now. As you can see, the price is under the EMA and it's under the VWAP as well, at least leading into this reset. It'll probably still continue to be on the bottom side for a little while until it breaks above. So for me right now, even though I know in your mind you're like, should I buy the dip? It's not technically a good buy signal according to the 15-minute chart for a short-term, long trade. But keep in mind, Dent can only go so low, right? So hypothetically, we can get all the way down to 0.0015 again. However, will it go that low? Probably not, unless Bitcoin sells off down to 30,000 again, right? So now that Bitcoin's going sideways, we'll probably see some sideways action from Dent before it takes off. Maybe be probably a couple more days before we see any type of significant increase or decrease from Bitcoin, because this has a tendency right now of actually taking it takes usually about 1 or 2 days before it catapults. Now again, this is an exception recently, right? This big guy here. But if you look at like just say a 1-hour chart, for example, you see it likes to go sideways and then increase, sideways, increase, right? So it's pretty consistently just in a tight channel, and then it ramps up, ramps down when the squeeze happens, right? It'll either be a long squeeze and go down or a short squeeze and go up. So right now at this point in time, we had a long squeeze here, so to speak, based on the fact that news had came out. So we're going to probably see a little bit more sideways action here, and it'll either break down or break up. Again, we truly don't know specifically. It does feel more bullish right now for Bitcoin, but it also feels extremely overextended. I mean, the RSI was over 80 for some time here recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see further retracement. Either way, think about that when you go into your trade. Be careful, be cautious, be wise. That's the important thing. So I hope you found benefit here today. Thank you so much for your time. We'll go ahead and see the next video. We'll see you then. Take care. Thank you.